Welcome to Psychology of FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, your instructor for the summer class in International Summer Semester of Sungkyunkwan University, SKKU. What is this course about? It's about investor psychology and CEO psychology. Psychology. Do you mean this rapper Psy? And yes, I'm not kidding. You're gonna see my video in Bloomberg TV where I danced to the Gangnam Style, and then we talked about the bubble that was associated with the Gangnam Style's music video hit that happened a decade ago, and a lot of interesting things about the market craze or frenzy about the assets or stocks that drives your attention a lot more. Okay, the thing is, neoclassical economists always say that the only information about the cash flow and risk drive the stock price, and then nothing else is driving it. But we find that it's not the case. Repeatedly, time and again, we find that attention of New Jeans, right? I'm talking about that girl group New Jeans, yeah? That New Jeans and that kind of things. Attention is really driving the price too, okay? Which was largely ignored by conventional economists. So the attention has a lot to do with your psychology, your attention, where your heart goes, the hot blood, right? So that drives the stock price bubble and crash. So how can we survive this environment? And is there any way to measure the degree of attention? Yes, as it turns out, we have big data technologies to do that. And that big data or text mining or whatever, unconventional alternative data mining, that technology is widely used in FinTech. The banking system, we have to talk about the banking system, but new kinds of banks, right? Like Kakao Bank or Venmo kind of guys are adopting those text mining technologies to assess the risk preference of the borrowers or the depositors and the investors and these kind of things. Not only that, those hedge funds, right? Quantitatively driven algorithmic traders, and then these guys are widely adopting these big data technologies to automate their tradings, right? So all this kind of technological innovation are lumped into the word called FinTech, Finance Plus Technology. So those development of FinTech went side by side together with the development of what we call behavioral finance, the psychology of finance. So that's why I'm combining these two subjects into my one semester course. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, if you want some more description of it, the text, we don't have a textbook, but I will distribute the previous class notes, which will be largely, 80% of it will be repeated, okay? But 20% of it will be something updated with recent events. Like, for example, we, over the last semester, right, last spring, we had serious banking, bank failures in the United States, like SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, and then Signature Bank. Also, we had a failure from Credit Suisse, right? This kind of new events are coming up. So I had to update those materials, so it will be updated accordingly. But previous year's note will be there for you, so that it's going to be a good guidance to you to understand it. All right. Now, what else do we have? Course requirements are here. Midterm, no exam, but you just have to watch a finance movie, and then you will have to write a review about it. I will assign what movie that is, so wait for that, okay? Final exam takes up 40% of your grade, and one-page homework will be there 5 times. It's not going to be graded, but it's more like checking your attendance, right? 5 times, you just submit it, and then you will be done. It's really light-hearted homework, so don't have to worry about it. Attendance, 10%, participation, 10%. How do you measure the attendance? Each time I give you a chewing gum. So when you comment or something so that I could give you, so that you will have some recognition of it. And then on that chewing gum cover, you write your names and then give it back to me so that I could check your comments each time. Why do I do this? Because of the limitation of our school's budget here. We don't have many TAs to help each class. Instead, we have to figure out how to check the comments or participations of the students. So that's why I invented this methodology of using the chewing gums, which turned out to be vastly fun. So I hope you like it. And then I encourage a lot of students, I mean, not just encourage, but I force you to form groups of multinational teams, not just Korean students, but various international students in each given team, so that you will talk to each other, make friends with each other, and deliver or do the problem solving together, and then do some presentations. So as frequently as possible, so that by the end of the semester, you will make international friends, and you will have some fun, a lot of fun, and have some, hopefully a better knowledge about the finance or the psychology of FinTech, right? So that's the goal, all right? I hope you like that. And the syllabus already distributed tells a lot about what will be there, right? And then, so the subjects that we are going to talk about, well, to talk about the behavioral finance and the psychology of investors, we have to first set up our benchmark, which is about the efficient market hypothesis of neoclassical economist groups. So we'll have to discuss and then learn deeper into the efficient market hypothesis and what we mean by that, right? You will be surprised. Oh, did we mean this degree of efficiency? And then you will realize, we are not that efficient, right? And then we will naturally move on to the bubbles and crash and momentum and overreaction, all this kind of stuff in the stock market and then asset markets. And then sometimes you will learn that some part of it is driven by such thing as color psychology, and then attention effect in the stock market, using the media attention, and then we'll have to we will move on to the discussion of algorithmic trading, and then high frequency trading, and hedge funds. What are their functions, especially when it comes to arbitrageurs, right? Or what we call a short sellings, right? Widely done by international hedge funds. And then what is the value of having these short sellers in our market? So we're going to talk about that. And then talking about the short sellers, you remember what happened in 2021 called GameStop, right? There was a huge short squeeze. Okay. Not only that, Volkswagen also had some short squeeze in 2008. So we're going to delve deeper into that case, and then have some fun talking about these, short squeeze events, right? Like that. Now, and then we'll move on to prospect theory versus expected utility theory, because these two are really contrasting with each other. Are we always risk averse, as just like what the neoclassical economists claim or assume? Or are we sometimes risk-seeking, like the behavioral finance camp guys talk about, right? We're going to talk about that in the prospect theory part. And then we'll move down to sports sentiment, like World Cup soccer game and Olympic games. When your country loses in those games, how would you feel? Negative. Does that depress the stock market in the subsequent days? Yes. So you're going to see how it works. And by then we'll move on to the CEO psychology, like Elon Musk or some narcissistic CEOs. Do they add value to the company? It's non-trivial issue, because once you get a job, right, you will work for a certain company, or unless you create one, and then what's the psychological bias does that your CEO has may have a tremendous impact on your organization. So it's better to know how much of the narcissistic bias the CEO has or your boss has, right? And then also a different dimension of psychological bias is overconfidence. How much overconfident is he or she? And self-attribution bias. Whenever good things happen, that's because of me. Bad things happen, that's because of them, not me, okay? So that kind of self-attribution bias, how does it work, okay? Do shareholders like it or not? We're going to talk about that in our class. How do we measure this psychology, right? Big data approach, we're going to talk about it in our class. A vastly fun subject. Not only that, as you see in my book over here, which is in Korean, by the way. For Korean students, I strongly suggest you to, read this one, okay, 부자 관상 기술, which is about the facial masculinity, right? Your face tells a lot, actually, if you are an adult, right? Because your bone is grown already, and then, the bone growth has to do with the testosterone, and then that shows up in your cheekbones. So wider face, more risk-seeking, or more aggressive risk-seeking. Okay, so for personal finance perspective or investment, it tells you a lot about what kind of investment style you're going to pursue. And when it comes to CEO, right? We have a lot of CEOs pictures in the Google image. So can we predict his or his M&A's behavior in the future? If we can predict, then it's going to be great as a strategy consultant, because once you find out a good target company to recommend to the CEOs, and then you will be able to identify which one will be more willing to listen to you and take over that company and pay high amount for that, right? So look at the face of the guy, right? Analyze it. Is there any way to digitally analyze it using AI technology? And that's what I brought in my paper. So you're going to have a lot of fun talking about that and then discussing these issues. And then we'll move on to blockchain technologies. And then recently we had a lot of, the Terra Luna debacles, right? And then the CBDC issues like this. Yeah. So we're going to discuss this issue. So wait for that. And what else do we have? Right. So flash bank runs and this kind of things, right? Hot issue in finance as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun subjects to cover, and then a lot of discussions with your friends. And then I hope it's going to be a great opportunity for you guys to make international friends and then discuss and then improve your knowledge in finance, current issues, and fintech as well. So I hope you like it, and then see you in class. Thanks for watching.